This is Jake with Van Dyke Software. In this video, I'll show how to configure VShell to be a file transfer only server. First, a little background info to help set the stage. VShell is a server product that provides access to specific functionality such as file transfer, command shell access, and port forwarding. A file transfer client application like SecureFX can initiate a connection to VShell and perform file system activities such as uploading, downloading, renaming, or even deleting files and folders. An SSH2 terminal client like SecureCRT can initiate a connection to VShell and gain access to a command shell on the VShell machine in which administrative activities can be performed. An SSH2 port forwarding client like SecureCRT can initiate a connection to VShell and request that TCP packets be forwarded from the client machine across the encrypted SSH2 connection and onto another service that happens to be accessible only from the VShell machine. While VShell has the capability of providing all of this functionality, your specific project may only require file transfer capabilities. I'll show you how you can enable file transfer for most users and allow an administrator to continue to have access to the other functionality if needed. First, open the VShell control panel and browse to the Access Control category. In this upper section, targeted user or group entries are listed. The permissions area below shows the access allowed or denied for the selected user or group. The logon permission allows the user or group to authenticate to VShell. All other permissions listed below require logon to be allowed. So if you don't enable logon, no one will be able to access any of the other VShell functionality. SCP, SFTP, and FTPS each grant permission to use that specific file transfer protocol. These are the ones that would need to remain enabled for a file transfer only configuration of VShell. The shell, remote execution, port forwarding, and remote port forwarding permissions relate to non-file transfer functionality, so these will all be disabled by clearing the allow for each of them. Once the apply button is pressed, we're done. VShell is now configured to allow only file transfer functionality. So let's test out this configuration. I'll first connect with an SFTP client to make sure that it works. I'll use a SecureFX session with the SFTP protocol, and sure enough, I'm able to connect just fine. Second, I'll connect with the SecureFX session that uses the SCP protocol, and yep, that too is allowed. Next, I'll connect with the SecureFX session that uses the FTPS protocol, and that too is allowed as I expected. Now, I'll attempt to use SecureCRT to connect with access to a remote command shell. Nope, denied. The same would be the case if we tried to perform port forwarding or remote execution. We'd be denied access to that functionality. As a VShell admin, you may want to allow for your account to have command shell functionality through an SSH client so that you can perform administrative tasks on the command line through a remote connection to VShell. To do this, simply add an entry for your account in the same access control category and then make sure it has allow permissions for login and shell. Now, I'll test a connection with SecureCRT to authenticate as that administrator account and see if I get shell access. Yep. The next logical step in configuring a file transfer server would be to lock file transfer clients to a specific folder that they alone can access. But that's a topic for a different video. Until then, stay secure, my friends.